Hello everyone and welcome back. Today was Shivratri and the kids had a holiday. So it was a very slow and no work lazy day for me. They had just woken up and didn't want anything heavy for their first meal. So I gave them some muesli with milk. Muesli I feel is a comparatively better alternative to cereals as it contains whole oats, whole flakes, nuts, seeds and dried fruits. Often when I am in a rush or the kids want a change in taste, I prefer giving them muesli. I wanted to keep my day very easy for two main reasons. Primarily because I was excited to make the special Vrat Thali for Shivratri Bhog today, and also because Rutvi had her exam the next day and I wanted to focus on her revisions. Mornings usually start slow on a holiday with a sense of peace, but don't take it at face value because as the day goes on, so does the volume in the house. Over time, their quarrels began, followed by my scolding, and no point for guessing who initiates the chaos. Well, no one warned me about this battlefield before becoming a mom of two. I make the most of this quiet time to prepare meals for kids before hunger strikes. Since it was Shivratri, I was fasting. So I decided to make a quick and simple breakfast for kids. On low key days like this, a little meal prep comes in extremely handy. Since I knew breakfast would only be for kids, I prepared idli sambar for dinner and made extra idlis for the morning because I planned to make masala idli as the kids enjoy it a lot. For the masala idli, I quickly chop some vegetables and cut the idlis into bite-sized pieces. Now I take 1 teaspoon of oil and add mustard seeds, hing, curry leaves and sliced onions. I saute them for 10 seconds, then add the veggies. I'll also fry some peanuts to add into the dish later. Next, I'll add all the basic spices like turmeric, red chili powder and coriander powder and mix them well. Then I'll add tomatoes, water and cook until the tomatoes soften. I had added some peas as well, and once they are cooked well, I will add the diced idlis, some water to create steam, and the fried peanuts. I mix everything well, then cover the kadhai and let the steam soften the idlis a bit. Honestly, time management only works with some prior planning. This is especially true if you are a working parent. Meal planning and some mini prep make mornings like this so much easier. Dhairya was initially resistant to eat it, but after some requests, he ate a few bites. I had ordered some items for the Vrat Thali and they had arrived. Though there was still time to cook, I decided to do some small prep on the go. I had already soaked sabudana the night before, so now I'll boil a few potatoes. For For making sure that your potatoes are cooked well and in lesser time, there is a small tip, and that is to cut your potatoes in half. This actually cut down your total time to half. By the way, what do you prefer to eat during Shivratri? Let me know in the comments below. I take some falahar during the day and eat my meal late in the evening after the bhog. So I was really hungry, and for breakfast I'll make a very filling and delicious apple shake, adding some almond milk, chopped apples, soaked almonds, and a bit of honey for sweetness. When we were young, Dad used to give this apple shake every morning before school. I still love the taste of it. I'll also have a few fruits, and this will keep me full until my main meal. After finishing a few chores and getting the kids ready, I finally sat down with Rutvi for her exam revision. Her first exam is Hindi, and Hindi is a bit of a demanding subject in terms of spellings, and practice is the only way out for that. A lot of moms here ask me many questions regarding study routines. Well, I'm no expert, but based on my experience, I can share a few things. First thing first, giving time to your kid for their daily studies is very important and should be non-negotiable. If you can't dedicate much time, at least checking their daily diary and discussing what's going on in class is a good way to build momentum. I was kind of ignoring this, but once I started doing it, it literally showed a lot of change in Rutvi's study pattern. The second step is getting kids into the habit of sitting down. Rutvi used to run around and never sit for studies. I tried many things, but she used to resist so much before sitting. However, it was clear that once she sat, she would then focus for a good 30 to 40 minutes. So, I decided to start with just 10 minutes daily with one assignment and gradually expand the required duration. This also helped in increasing her sitting hours, and doing it daily and on a regular basis soon became a non-negotiable routine. The third important thing is to have a lot of patience. It's not a 1 day, 1 week or a 1 month job. It's an ongoing practice that gives result only after months. It took me more than 3 months to reduce her resistance and establish a good study routine. But trust me, once it is established, it now runs so smooth without any resistance. I am not a mom who aims for immediate result, but I focus on efforts and hard work. Results are a byproduct of hard work, and I'm sure that with practice comes perfection. So, go easy on your kids' study patterns. Just be present, be consistent with their studies, and you will see the difference for yourself. Revision took a bit longer, so I quickly made some vegetable khichdi for lunch, which I didn't shoot. Once they went to take their afternoon nap, I decided to start cooking the thali. On the menu, I was making makhana kheer, sabudana vada and khichdi, green raita, dahi aloo sabzi, rajgiri roti and falari chutney. I first quickly roasted some peanuts in the air fryer at 230 degrees for 8 minutes in 2 rounds. For the makhana kheer, I chopped some nuts, and for sweetness, I'll only add dates because this gives a nice caramelized taste to the kheer, which I really like. Now in some ghee, I'll roast the makhanas.
Hear the crickets, see the moon, side by side and through. No limit to what we can do.
Once they turn crispy, I'll take them out and fry some nuts in the remaining ghee.
Found what we're looking for in life. Call us crazy, but think
Once done, I'll add milk and let it come to a boil.
the future is bright. You and I, we got it.
Once it boils, I'll add the dates after breaking them into small pieces, as this will help the dates melt faster into the kheer. Dates will help in thickening up the milk, but to further thicken it, I will crush some makhanas and add them into the milk.
We don't need no more. Even in the hard times, you and I can weather any storm.
To add a nice fragrance, I'll add 1 cardamom and a pinch of saffron, crushing both together and adding them into the milk. This trick helps in giving the best fragrance out from kesar. Lastly, I'll add the makhanas and cook the kheer until I get the desired thickness or consistency. I had already boiled the potatoes, so now I'll peel the skin off and grate them, keeping just a few aside for sabzi later. I'll divide the grated potatoes into 2 portions, one for the vadas and one for the chapati. To add protein, I'll grate some paneer and divide that too.
Won't stop for traffic light.
Next, I'll make the spice mixture for the vadas. For that, I'll grind green chilies, roasted peanuts and 2-inch piece of ginger together in a mixer.
Even if I'm falling down,
Now into the potato mix, I'll add the soaked and fluffed sabudana, half of the crushed and spiced peanut because the other half will go in the khichdi, senda namak, crushed black pepper, cumin, freshly chopped coriander and some lemon juice. I'll mix everything well and after rubbing some ghee on my pans, I'll shape the vadas. I'll keep them aside and air fry them once everything is ready. Now I'll make the chutney. For that, I'll take fresh coriander with stalks, green chili, peanuts, curd, ginger, salt, a bit of sugar, lemon juice, cumin and some paneer. Adding paneer makes the chutney very creamy and ideal for vadas.
let's figure out where the road goes. Even if I'm falling down, I will keep on searching for my highs. You can say I lost my mind, I will keep on holding my head high. Even if the sky is falling down, even if the sky is falling down.
Next, I'll make green raita. For that, I'll whisk some homemade curd and add cumin powder, black pepper, salt, freshly chopped coriander and the remaining chutney from the mixing jar. I'll add everything well and this makes the raita very flavorful. Next, I'll make the potato sabzi. For that, I'll crush some peanuts first. Now in ghee, add green chili, cumin seeds and diced potatoes and saute for 30 seconds. Then add turmeric and crushed peanuts and mix well.
Jumping from cliffs so high, trusting
Once done, add around 2 cups of buttermilk and keep stirring until it starts to boil.
but we get up and start from the ground.
Add some grated boiled potatoes as they help thicken the gravy.
If I never figure out,
In the end, I'll grate some ginger to get the most flavor out.
even if I'm falling down, I will keep on searching for my high.
Add some black pepper and freshly chopped mint and coriander, and just like that, a simple but very flavorful sabzi is ready.
Even if the sky is falling down.
Lastly, I'll make the sabudana khichdi. In the fluffed sabudana, I had already added the spiced peanut mix, so now I'll add salt, pepper and a little bit of sugar, then mix it well.
It's too bad you'll never know.
Now take a pan and into the ghee add cumin, green chili, chopped curry leaves, roasted peanuts and the sabudana mix. Keep stirring until the sabudana becomes translucent, and in the end add lemon juice. And the simple sabudana khichdi is done. I avoided potatoes because I have already added potatoes in many other dishes. Now everything is done. I have put the sabudana in the air fryer and it's time to make the Rajgiri rotis. So in the grated potato and paneer mix, I'll add the flour. There is no need to add flour initially as the potato itself has enough moisture. Add water only if the flour feels too dry.
Just the two of us. But I know I'll have to try. Try to let her go. Because she won't be mine. I listen when she
The vadas are done. I air fried the vadas at 230 degrees for 12 minutes in the interval of 6 minutes and turning and coating them with ghee. And they came out really crunchy from outside and nice and soft from inside.
somebody else and I will have to let her go. She will never know.
Now I'll roll the chapatis and to give them a good shape, I'll cut the chapatis with a bowl.
She'll never know. It's like she stole my heart without knowing she did.
Cook the chapatis on the tawa while pressing from both sides.
I guess that
The chapati will fluff up nicely and still remain soft because of the potatoes and paneer.
got lost inside the blue of those eyes. I've gotta let her go.
Smear some ghee on top, and with everything done, it's time to assemble the bhog thali.
But I have to try.
And here is dahi aloo sabzi,
Cause she'll never be
makhana kheer,
this away.
hara raita, sabudana khichdi, vadas, chutney, Rajgiri roti, and roasted paneer and cashews. And that's how my bhog thali looked. With this, I'll end the vlog here and hope this video was helpful. Share your comments telling me what you cooked during your fasting days at home. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more such meal ideas. Join me on Instagram for some behind the scene glimpses into my daily life, and I'll see you in my next vlog very soon.
Never